you and I have one very, very shared trait. We both spiked on it, which is that we think of rules are for other people. And I mean, if I see a rule, I want to rewrite the rule. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, it's like if I hear how something is done, I say, "Is there another way to do it?" It's in me and it's in you, right? And this, in some ways, makes you incredibly valuable to organizations. But if you're in a bureaucracy, you are dead. Okay. Bureaucracies don't like this. I had problems with Harvard a lot when I was working there because I was constantly coming up with new ways to do things that were not inside the rules. Okay, so when you found that about yourself, we found that out in one of the tests that we did. When you found it out, did you have this moment of like, oh my God, I am so seen?
It made me like think back to bosses who had let me live outside the box. And I was like, well, I'm really, really grateful for those environments where now I understand that I need an environment wherein I can say, okay, like if we are to get this done in any way, some rules are going to have to be broken. And this is just my, MO. And there were places I worked where there was a way that was,
where it was respected and desired and appreciated and it wasn't seen as a threat. Friends, listening. Okay, listen, this is why we do the work of becoming you. Because when we come to understand ourselves, then we have a language to say to a boss, let me tell you this thing about me. I'm all about the organization, but I'm all about creatively getting to the organization's goals. Is that good with you? Is that cool with you? That I'm not being naughty, I'm not being adversarial, I'm not being rogue, I am being creative. And this is my superpower. Does it belong at this organization or not? I mean, and it helps you when you're looking at organizations that you're going to join. Like, yeah, I like that boss and I love their product, but man, I am going to be so at odds with the aptitudes that they want and the values that they have. Because there's blending between aptitudes and values. Because the thing is, when you're really like something, like you and I are both like this highly creative with the rules types, it ends up becoming a value because you're so good at it and you sort of like come to defend it. So what else did you find out about yourself on the aptitudes front?
Found out, I think also there was another motivator, I think on that same test, the aesthetic motivator.
Yes.
Off the charts.
Me too.
It was very, very high for me. And I think it comes from the art background.
Yes.
But also that motivator was tricky because it was about balance and harmony. And
yes.
It was, it told me something that I kind of, I guess, knew innately, but I was like, oh, wow. I think it said that this kind of a person is easily swayed, or rather they can see multiple sides to the story, any story, and they want as much harmony and peace among all of the players, which, I think, to speak very lightly, it's geopolitically just a very hard time. And I find myself very much, again, trying to establish harmony. And find common ground for, all people and everyone in any situation. And that applies to me in so many different rooms.
And look, it's so important. Like, so this value, I happen to call it beholderism. It can be called aesthetic value. And this is about how you value harmony in your physical environment, in your emotional environment, and actually even like in your personal environment, like how you look. Okay, like I will not leave the house looking a certain. This is of high beholderism, and you can sort of take it as well. Isn't this very self-centered? But in fact, it's a real trait. It's a real value. Things have kind of got to look right, and they got to feel right. I need my I need my feng shui, and so forth. And this is a real value. And look, the details are as important as the trees in this case are as important as the forest, which is this kind of self-knowledge is critical in understanding what your career path should look at.